good. I model it after Rogan's, and he always says try to keep it about a fist from your face. So yeah, kind of like right about there, and you can
That's what she said.
that the bottom line there. Do you see the green that keeps going over? That's kind of where you want it to go almost into yellow, right
Okay.
about there.
Okay.
So, and I'll glance over now and then just to make sure we're still picking up.
So we're on the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead and talk.
Okay.
Where are you
Hello?
from? Yep. I'd bring it in a little closer. Yep, a little closer. There you go.
Okay.
Because you are kind of soft spoken.
Correct.
I actually hit record. I've done that too.
You're quite the expert.
Oh God, dude. You're gonna be 80, late 80s. I can't remember what number I'm at. It's 88 or 89, and I still feel like an amateur. I'm still trying to figure it out. I have to do the shout outs. Tom Brady, No Shoes Nation, Kenny Chesney, they all rule. That's just for my daughter. So
Okay,
I have to do
okay.
that every episode to irritate her. And to irritate all my other
At least
fans.
you're being thoughtful.
Or consistent. And again, to irritate my whole 3 listeners.
Well, there's
Well,
four now,
Paul,
right?
What's that?
There's 4 now.
I think I have 4
Yeah.
subscribers, yes. Hey, it even took Rogan like several years before his blew up and then got famous. So, but again, I'm not trying to make money off this. I just like talking to people. But yeah, this is Paul, and I guess it's pretty obvious where we're at. So thank you for letting us do it here, and shout out to Kevin for if he even knows for allowing us to do this.
He has no clue, but that's all right.
He's doing bigger and better things
Yes,
right now.
absolutely.
Oh boy! So one thing I thought about was you mentioned we were talking sometimes about exercise, and you apparently knew Bill Pearl.
Yes. Yes.
Are you? Because he lived in Medford, right?
Well, he lives in Phoenix, which is a suburb of Medford.
Yep.
It's all one big
Yeah.
concrete jungle now, but excuse me. Yeah, and I stumbled on him probably by mistake.
Are you from that area then?
Yeah,
or-
I'm from Medford.
Okay.
Yeah, and went to high school in Medford, and then I went to college in Ashland.
Southern
So
Oregon.
it's like the 10-mile radius,
Yes.
and in between there is Phoenix and Talent.
Yep. Yep.
And Bill owned this fitness place in Phoenix,
Oh, okay.
and that's where I'd buy my fitness equipment from. And I had no idea who he was when I first met him.
Oh, because he wasn't still competing when you met him.
No, he was retired, but he was
Yeah.
Mr. Olympia before Schwarzenegger went on his 7-year run.
Yes. Oh, because I used to read all the muscle magazines in high
Right.
school. Yeah,
Right.
I've seen photos and interviews with him.
And then I started getting more recognized for my weightlifting.
Like
prowess at the
powerlifting?
ti- No, it was more bodybuilding
Oh, okay. Okay.
at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Hard to believe now, but and then I went to some event where he was at, and I realized who he was.
Oh.
And he invited me to work out with him and some of
Okay.
his guys.
That's
and
cool.
I was way outmatched. His guys were.
Well, so
nowhere
did
near.
you compete at some local contests or?
I did an amateur one once,
Mhm.
and it was again. You think you're something, and you're really not.
Oh.
Yeah, I could bench press 400 pounds, but it didn't mean I was the
Okay.
shit. But,
Got it. Got
you
it.
know, but it was a good experience, and I realized I would see Bill, quite often, and once I understood his history, the more
Mhm.
respect I had for the man, obviously, because to me he was just a retail guy behind the counter.
Was he still in pretty
Oh,
good
so-
shape?
Dude, I saw him last time. He was like in late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
In Elmer's in Medford, and the guy was a beast.
Still jacked.
Oh, just yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So he just never stopped working out, obviously.
Mm-mm. No, but I will. I can't really say, but I would say I'm a muscle and fitness quite a bit.
Mhm.
I'm at the magazine cover,
Yes.
and he would say things that he didn't really believe in. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I was even thinking if I should even bring that issue up, but I think we all know by
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it's no
yeah.
secret. And look, there's hell now it's commonplace. I mean, I want to look into it for optimization.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with everybody should know we're talking about like TRT stuff, but I'm like because the doctors, your normal family practitioner, they just, they'll look at you do your blood work, and they'll look at all your levels and say, oh yeah, that's normal for your age. Well, I
Right.
don't want to be normal for my age. I want to be optimal.
Right.
Like
Right.
even if I'm in my 50s or whatever, there's no reason because again, I'm not doing it to try to be Mr. Olympia, but I just want to have more energy
Right.
and more lean muscle mass and just feel better.
And I think if you're going to rely on your medical practitioners, you're probably taking a safe way out. You want to do your own self-study for optimization of health.
Well, there's, clinics out there now devoted to this stuff. So
Right,
you
right,
can't,
absolutely.
you can't really go through your family practitioner.
Right.
'Cause either they don't have the knowledge, or they still believe in the stigma against it, I guess.
Or again, they're trying to get the next patient in and out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's actually, that's a lot of it. It is kind of a numbers game.
Mhm.
So you really have to advocate for yourself, especially
Correct.
when you're dealing with your
Correct.
God. Yeah. Okay, we don't have to get into this right off the bat. This could go down such a controversial road. I love it. But so is Bill? Because I don't know when he was born. Is he still alive?
No.
Okay,
Passed.
so the last time you saw him was several years
It
ago.
was a long time ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because so you born and raised in Medford?
No, I was born in El Centro, California, which is between San Diego and Yuma,
Yep.
which is the biggest armpit of the planet.
Wait a minute. Yuma is Arizona, right?
Correct.
Oh, so you're on the very southern part of California, kind of.
It was
I've
2 miles from the border.
I have driven because I used to be a truck driver.
Yeah.
One time, I had to pick up a load literally at the border of. There's a town that's the same name as a Mexican.
Mexicali?
Yeah.
Or Cal Mexico.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Mexicali is the two. Or Calexico.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then I took a highway, 2-lane highway that basically followed the border.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up getting it. So how many hours from San
That's
Diego?
right there.
Oh,
well, it's between. It's maybe an hour and a half from San Diego going east.
got it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of in between.
Correct.
That's where you were born?
Yes.
Wow, that had to be an interesting town
Born
to
in
grow
the
up
same
in.
hospital that Cher was born in.
She was born in that. That's your claim
That's
to
my
fame.
claim to fame for where I was born. Yes.
Well, okay, but did you live there long enough to have childhood memories of
No.
it?
Well, I no. Moved to San Diego. My first memories was in El Centro when I was a kid. I mean, 2 years old.
Oh, okay.
Next memories were in San Diego, and we moved to Southern Oregon when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay, so you at least started elementary school in San Diego?
Mm-hmm.
First, second grade, I guess?
Kindergarten in El Centro, and then first and second grade in San Diego.
Okay, so you have some memories of San Diego,
Yeah.
but obviously it
Yeah.
was different than it is now.
Oh, yeah.
But most of your formative years were in Medford.
oh, yeah.
And was
absolutely.
this moving for jobs for your parents or something?
Most of the family had moved up. My grandparents were wealthy ranchers in
Oh, okay.
that area, and they moved up to Southern Oregon, and the family kind of followed.
Oh, right on. Okay. So your grandparents had property
Huge.
in Medford or outside?
Oh, yeah, huge.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Outside, yeah.
So all through school, was there only one Medford High School at that time?
Yes, only one.
They
We had
hadn't built the second
the
one.
largest graduating class in the state when I graduated.
Yes, that's
And
right.
I did
'cause
graduate.
I have family on my mom's side that so I would make trips down when I was a kid. Opal and Dale Jones, they owned more than one like mattress and or furniture stores. That was their big business.
Mhm.
I think, but I feel like they had a few iterations of it, and they also might have owned some duplexes or apartments and kind of all that. But we would travel down there, and I do remember always hearing about that high school was just so huge because
Oh,
there
yeah.
was only one.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a feeder school for so many communities around it.
No, that's
Or
necessarily.
did
No.
like
There was
White
Crater.
City had their own high
White City
school?
had their own. It was called Crater.
oh
Ashland had their own. There was Phoenix had their own. There was a lot. The thing is, when Medford changed to 2 high schools, it didn't do any good to do the overcrowding because there was mid high, which was 9th and 10th grade. Then there was senior high, which was 11th and 12th grade.
oh that's totally different than
yeah. So
okay
what they did is they made 2 high schools,
okay
but now mid high was South Medford, which is 9 through 12.
right
North Medford, which was senior high, is now 9 through 12. So it didn't do anything to do the
because
overcrowding.
they just added 2 more grades.
There was too much pressure, I think, politically because of the sports Medford would dominate in a lot of sports
Yeah.
because they had such a pool of talent to choose
Yes.
from,
Yeah.
and I think there was pressure more from that sort of thing to
And was
dilute
that
the pool.
was that coming from like the OSAA or
I have no idea. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that factor because I remember even as a kid in the 80s hearing about Medford was kind of a juggernaut.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because we had such a population base to draw from, and we had some very talented kids
Yeah.
that would go through there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so high school through there, and then and I always say it, talk about whatever you want and whatever you don't want to talk about, you don't have
I don't
to.
want
I'm
to
not
hear
trying
all,
to. I'm
so,
not trying
yeah.
to. I know. I had to pay him to do this because I knew
check clears.
I knew Paul would get me clicks. So, but so after high school, what's the decision? Getting into the workforce, or did you go to school?
Got
or-
the workforce for about 9 months, and I realized this sucks because I had no background, no skills, and so I decided to join the army. And I got
That's
I got
right. That's
accepted-
right. You were
yeah.
military. Okay, so 9 months of just probably like labor type work.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
so
want to be independent. I want to be on my own. I don't want to live at home.
I guess I
know.
didn't even ask. You have siblings?
Yes, I have younger brother, older sister,
Okay.
but we were worlds apart in age and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Got it. Okay. So join the army, and was that just like, hey, I need good opportunity?
no, I wasn't desperate by any stretch because it had to be something that it was on my terms.
Okay.
And I would only accept certain jobs. So I got accepted to the military intelligence field,
Okay.
which took a while because there's a bunch of testing and background checks and everything else. And
So I'm assuming you were a pretty decent student in school then.
I was a good student. Wasn't a 4.0 but
Yeah.
good enough to
Yeah.
not be ashamed of.
Right.
And went that route. Learned a lot.
How many years in the army then?
Just 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And did you get stationed overseas?
Yeah, I was in Würzburg, Germany for 2 years.
Is that close to Berlin or?
No, Berlin was back then East Germany.
Oh, that right. It was still east.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you were in West Germany. Well, wait a minute.
Correct.
I was just watching a history thing about this because after World War II, until the wall fell, Germany, the whole country was split in East and West.
Correct.
But then Berlin was totally in East, and it was split again, West
Correct.
and East Berlin.
There
which,
was half of Berlin was West. And I actually had won because I got like NCO of the month or something for my or whatever, some award I got,
mm-hmm.
and I got a all-paid trip to Berlin.
Oh.
But we attacked Libya the day before, so all trips are canceled.
Oh.
But no, Berlin was cut in half too. So half of Berlin was West Germany. The other half was East Germany.
and when I just remember.
Checkpoint Charlie was the big thing.
Yes,
Yes.
the gate that you had
Correct.
to pass,
Correct.
and it was U.S. or NATO soldiers on one side,
It
Russian
was like
soldiers.
Vegas on one side and New Orleans after the hurricane on the other side.
Oh God!
Yeah.
I just remember looking at the map that they showed when I was watching this history documentary. It's looking back because when I grew up in the '80s, it was just the Red Scare and communism and the wall. So, but looking back, how insane that whole setup seems. Like
Mhm.
this is what you guys came up with after World War II.
Yeah.
We're going to split this country, and then we're going to split the capital city, which is in this one whole side of it. Then we're also going to split that.
Yeah.
The insanity of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
so
you also need some research.
so you're so what was the city that you were stationed in West Germany?
Würzburg. It's where Dirk Nowitzki from the Dallas Mavericks. He was from there.
Dirk Nowitzki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about the size of Eugene.
Oh, so 150,000, something like that, maybe 100,000.
Yeah, but every town in Europe has history and castles, and it's just,
Yes.
it was part of Bavaria, so it was a little more conservative than most of the other parts of Germany.
And how long were you there?
2 years.
Oh wow! So you
Yeah.
really got a taste of the culture and.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
absolutely.
Did you pick up some German?
I did, and the more I drank, the more I was fluent. I realized that when I was at Oktoberfest and
And
drank
I
a few
bet
beers.
and you're not kidding though, right?
No,
you're
I
being
was-
serious.
yeah.
I wonder if it's
At
something
least I
that
thought I was.
you I wonder if it's something as you have a couple of pints and you actually relax and maybe the cognition just flows more naturally.
Yeah, it becomes a part of it. You get absorbed in the culture, and you actually don't realize how much you know.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
it's almost like immersion therapy
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're just surrounded by them.
Yeah, correct.
Oh wow. So that was a cool. Well, so again, it is post World War II, and you're
I would hope so.
30, 40, however many years after. I mean, we're talking decades after the war.
Right.
What do you remember about? And again, this is why I don't come in with a script, because the guest will just say stuff that pique my interest, and then I want to dive into it. What were the German people there? What were they like on the west side, the the free side, whatever? What was their demeanor, their attitude as far as the whole? Because they got to deal with this stigma of the Nazis.
Well, German people, at least when I was there, the West German people, 100% anti-Nazi.
Right.
They were embarrassed by it.
I
They
figured.
were ashamed of it. There was no, and the military in Germany was a ragtag bunch of Three Stooges. It was just because they were so ashamed to even have a military.
Oh, so they were scarred by
Yes,
that.
and anything that we would see, there were some buildings I would go to that used to be German buildings or Nazi buildings, and they did the best they possibly could to erase anything that would
Okay.
even be
An image
a
or
tattoo or
anything,
yeah,
an image, a painting,
right,
a picture.
Right.
Okay, so they were how was the West German economy doing?
Well, for us it was great because $1 of theirs would buy $3.50 of ours back when I was there.
Right.
So, you had $20, you go out and
You're good.
all day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so was the U.S. Army working with the West German Army kind of, and was that like
there'd be some joint exercises, but for the most part, they weren't up to standard at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were still recovering from.
Well, no,
And
they
even
were
deciding
recovering.
if
their model was to choose not to have a military and rely on us to take care of them.
on-
That's why we were there.
Got it. Okay, because they were they were still after the World War II thing. The last thing they probably wanted was to build up another military.
No, and again, the stigma they had, and since Americans were there, they were
Yeah.
good.
Yep. So 2 years there, and you were doing that same field in the Army.
Yes.
You said it was intelligence.
Correct.
So what is that all? I mean, when you say intelligence, you automatically think like like spy stuff. But was it more about just in gathering intelligence information, and was it all focused on like the Soviet Union?
No, it wasn't focused on anything outside. It was internal intelligence. So
Oh.
basically, our job was to monitor all phone calls and communications from our own people
Okay.
to see if we could determine what the upcoming mission was. That was the main thrust. That was 80% of what I did.
Okay.
There was some interrogation of defectors when I was in Germany.
Okay.
There were some other things. And as a soldier, you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the main thrust was the commanding general or the G2 would come to us and say, "We want you to monitor these 50 phone lines
Okay.
for the next 2 months. You tell us what we need to know."
Oh, okay.
And these phone lines, and these communications were not anything that was secret that was being said.
Right.
They were all just nondescript, confidential. Not confidential conversations.
Right.
And we piece these things of the puzzle together.
Yep.
Go back to the general or the G2 and tell them what you're doing. This is what's coming up.
Okay. These are the issues we're hearing most of.
Right, and we would lay out exactly what's going to happen as we saw it.
Okay.
And they would never confirm nor deny, but they would use that information to, because if we knew it, so did the enemy know it.
Got it. Okay.
And we had surveillance or technology back then that we have now. It just wasn't public.
Oh, right. So now, well, what do they say? Like, a lot of technology is developed for military purposes, and then decades later, it gets into the
Right.
mainstream.
We had iPhone technology back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't. It was.
It just wasn't for the public yet.
correct.
It's almost like the military is a proving ground for the cutting edge technology, and once it gets refined,
Yeah.
well, and maybe once they develop stuff that's even more advanced, then they'll give the public the old stuff, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of hand-me-downs.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, that's funny now, thinking about the technology that exists now. So
Yeah.
does that mean that AI has been around for 20 years and we're just now using? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, no, I'm sure it has been. I mean, I'm not privy to those conversations anymore, but yeah, I'm sure it has been.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. So 2 years in Germany, and then did you? Was that the last of your
Yeah,
4 years?
that was my last 4 years.
Oh wow. Was it nice being overseas? Just kind of. I mean, obviously it opened your mind coming from small town America.
You know, you look back at things and you appreciate the experience. At the time, I was miserable.
Really?
It was wretched. There's 2 seasons of Germany. There's winter and August, and the winters are brutal.
I thought they were at about the same parallel as Oregon and Washington, but are they a little farther north?
Well, they're a little bit north, but it's not so much that because I lived in Tennessee too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same parallel as
Right.
Fresno.
Okay.
Tennessee is brutal, cold, brutally hot,
Yes.
where Fresno is not. So there's different
Oh,
factors that go
I
in-
see what
go
you're
into
saying,
it, yeah.
right? So it was was Germany very like overcast, cloudy for most of the year,
except for August.
and then it was just
Yeah.
oppressively hot, humid.
No, never hot.
Okay.
It was nice, pleasant in August, and every
Okay.
time it was just brutally cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lots of snow.
Oh. The only time I went to the hospital before it was on the verge of frostbite,
Oh,
which
geez.
is my toes.
Oh,
yeah,
my
it was, yeah.
gosh. Okay. So 2 years there, and you said, like you said, looking back as an adult, you can appreciate some of it, but it
Right.
wasn't at 20, 21 years old, or how old
Yeah,
were you?
about that.
Yeah,
yeah.
at that age, you didn't necessarily appreciate it.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was no thought of re-upping for another 4 or whatever?
Well, I've been going to night school for 4 years, and on the weekends I actually they considered me a college graduate without a degree,
Okay.
and I wanted to go to officer candidate school
Mhm.
at the time, because this is going to be my career.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, relationship-wise, was told that's not a good idea,
Okay.
and I decided to go back to Ashland to go to college.
And that's when you came out of your 4-year stint and started at Southern Oregon.
Correct.
But the night school credits you could apply to Southern?
Some applied, some didn't.
Okay.
So my University of Maryland applied, my Austin P applied. Some of the courses I challenged did not apply.
Okay.
So
So how many years at you ended up getting a degree from Ashland
Yeah,
or Southern?
yeah.
But how many years did you actually have to do then?
just right around 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. What was the major?
Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Business marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And is that at that time you were what was your intent
Yeah.
as far as a
The
career?
problem was I didn't really have an intent. I need to get a degree because
that's what they
need
tell
to
you.
do.
You need a degree.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I graduated as fast as I could. Went to summer school. Played golf every day. But I got out. I was like, okay, now what? So that was, but it was, and I was having a lot of fun at the time too.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course. So out of college, and now is there any interest in getting out? Going to some other town, or were you just looking for jobs locally, or?
Initially locally, then I realized that I had to get out and get up to Portland,
Okay.
or San Diego, someplace where there's opportunity.
Yeah, a bigger
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, and I eventually ended up in restaurant management because I really
Oh.
enjoyed. When I was in college, I worked at this 5-star place in
Okay.
Southern Oregon, and I really, really enjoyed what I was doing.
The whole hospitality
Yeah,
thing.
well, yeah, it's just the whole dynamics of so many moving pieces and so many different. Every shift to me, and I was young,
Right.
was a challenge and it was fun.
Okay.
And I met a lot of cool people, celebrities, and the people I worked with, I met lifelong bonds with. And that's kind of what I want to do.
Oh,
And I
okay.
would have actually majored in restaurant hospitality at Southern if they had that option. They didn't.
They didn't have that program. Okay.
So that's kind of where I was drawn to.
Oh, okay. And then
Yeah.
going to Portland, that's you found something in that career?
Not necessarily. No, I just wanted more opportunity, but I didn't really have a good compass at the time as far as what I wanted to do. So went back to Medford and then decided this is what I want to do. I want to get into restaurant hospitality, but there wasn't much opportunity in Medford, Oregon.
Right.
So basically I moved to where there was, which is Nevada,
Oh,
and then
Reno or Vegas?
Reno.
Reno.
at the time,
Okay.
yeah. And rose up the ranks like a freaking lightning rod.
Were you you got hooked up with a job at a casino then?
Casino, yeah.
Hotel casino.
Yeah.
And was it more the hotel side or the restaurant side?
Restaurant side, food and
Restaurant
beverage
side.
side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reno, and that would have been 80s, 90s,
Early 90s.
early 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Reno. Yeah, my first time going to Reno would have been, gosh, you were there then.
I know I recognized you.
Yes, I had hair, I think, back
Oh.
then. I think.
Never mind.
It was a crew cut though, like high and tight. When did I go? It must have been around 95. Yeah, just a quick 2 or 3 night trip to whatever casino we went to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how many years in Reno then?
About 5.
And all for the same casino hotel?
No, I worked my way up from a nobody to basically in charge of the whole entire department.
Oh wow.
But in Reno, it's not hard
Okay.
because the working. This is back in the 90s.
Yeah.
The workforce there was wretched.
Oh, the talent pool they were drawing
It
from,
was
you didn't have.
wretched. And
Really?
No offense to my. I know you're all watching. In Reno, gambling is not the problem. It's the alcohol and the drugs.
Okay.
And you would have people that would, and the bars don't close.
Oh, that's right.
So servers and managers who get off work and go to the bar, the local bar, and they would be there till the next shift.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
It's not. Is there going to be call-ins today? It's how many call-ins are going to be.
Oh Jesus.
People will come to work the next day in the same clothes they wore the night before. Yeah, it was. So it wasn't tough for me. With a little discipline to, become a valued asset at the time.
I see what you're saying. If you were smart enough to actually, go home after a shift, and even if you had a couple of drinks, go home and get some sleep, shower, and show up for your next shift.
Well, that wasn't all I did, Ken. I was very ambitious,
Yeah.
and I would work 14, 16-hour days,
Right.
and I would do whatever it took to get recognized.
Okay.
And
You were motivated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I ended up running the whole entire department. It was like 6 bars, 8 restaurants, banquets, room service, employee. I run everything.
Oh my God.
And I didn't mind the work. It was fine. The reason I left is because now I was having kids. And
Okay.
I wanted to get out of Reno because I want to raise them there.
Yep.
And I got recruited by Red Robin at the time. And I said, okay, great. Red Robin, I can go now back to the Northwest.
Okay.
I can transfer, and
Yep.
that's kind of how that went.
And maybe get on a more reasonable schedule.
Yeah,
where you're,
well, no, restaurant business is not reasonable. But I was hired as a GM,
okay.
and had the highest, all these achievements, and then I got recruited by another corporate restaurant and was able to move up to the Northwest again.
And Portland area then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that was part of my plan
Okay.
to get back to the Northwest because my kids were getting to school age. I did not want them to go to school in Reno.
Got it.
Reno was a small town with all the big city problems.
Yes. Well, and I'm also wondering if getting out of the casino hotel environment, again, having kids, it's, you're working restaurant hours and all that, but still maybe not having to do 14-hour shifts. Maybe you cut it back to 8 or 10.
Yeah,
A little more time at home.
It's not all. Yeah, it was much better in the corporate world than the casino world, but also it was part of my own doing because I didn't have to work that much.
Mhm.
I just chose to work that much to get myself,
Right.
recognized
Okay.
and some value.
So the Portland area with Red Robin first, and then another.
Applebee's.
Oh, Applebee's.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't say it again.
Raise the kids then? How many kids?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, are they still in the area?
My daughter is.
Okay.
Yeah, she just texted me this morning.
Oh, nice.
Funny picture of Michael Jackson looking like Wolverine.
Michael
and
Jackson what?
looking like Wolverine.
Oh.
Wolverine.
Is that from his Thriller video in the 80s?
No,
I think.
it's a
Or-
AI thing.
Okay, got it.
And my son lives. He's a air traffic control instructor in the Air Force. He's stationed in Mississippi in Keesler.
Oh, wow,
Gulf
okay.
Coast. Yeah.
Dang. They have their own families now, or
I have no idea. Yes.
he brought
Yes,
jokes. He brought jokes this morning, people.
Yeah. All three of you. Yeah, he's married and no kids.
Okay.
I told him he's not allowed until he's at least 30. And then my daughter lives locally.
Okay, right
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, works at Ridgefield.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So the corporate thing, and how long did that last?
Way too long,
Too long.
dude. Way too long. 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, so you have some insight into that industry. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And it was always around the Portland area. Did you ever do any of those in the Vancouver area, or?
Yeah. Vancouver, Portland. Yeah.
Okay, that's how you ended up.
Well,
in
the
this
Portland
one.
market means Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I'm ashamed to say.
And were you? So was it a position where you were? Is there corporate positions in these big chains that you're going to be like overseeing multiple locations?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you got to that point?
Temporarily, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that kind of
For
just
a
a
while.
headache, or?
Dude, it's all a headache. But you don't realize it at the time. You know,
Yeah.
you're challenged by the opportunity, and you want to do this and want to do that. And
Yeah.
once you get back and step out and look back at what the WTF was I thinking?
It was a rat race, but you didn't realize you were on the treadmill.
No, you thought you were you thought you were educating the rats on how to be better, and all you are is just one of the rats.
Oh man.
But I guess that's pretty similar to any corporate position. I'm assuming it's not like unique.
No. I guess anything, whether it's a restaurant or not, anything that's retail, it's not going to be Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. It's not banker's hours.
No, but the same challenges. Every industry has the same challenges.
Yeah.
I can only assume that it's.
Oh yeah, especially if you're looking for customers, no matter Costco, Red Robin. I mean, yeah, in any industry, it's basic business stuff. Did your marketing degree ever apply to anything? Did you learn anything in college that actually applied to the working world?
The thing I learned in college the most was the classes outside of my area.
Oh, okay.
Now, I should, if I would have gone back, I would have majored in something like English or history or something because it doesn't really matter what you get a degree in as long as you get a degree.
Right.
I found that, accounting classes, I'm glad I could never be an accountant. I take a year of accounting. There's no way I could ever do that job.
Yeah.
But history classes, art history, I mean, these are things I learned the most from, that I found most.
And they were interesting.
Yes.
You had an interest for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could have got a degree in whatever you actually enjoyed.
Right.
And still done the same career.
By the time I got a degree in what I thought I should get a degree in, not what I really, interests were in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So then at some point decided to jump off the treadmill and I don't know how much of a break was there between that world and then coming to work for Kevin.
Very short. I'm kind of Kevin's rescue dog. He freed me from the bonds of the corporate slavery.
So did you know him before he opened these? Or?
Yeah, we worked together in the corporate. That's why he was smart enough to get himself out of it on his own.
So he also had a background in this.
Yeah,
See, I mean, and he's not here to defend himself.
His history is the same, not the same, but similar to my
But he was
background.
in that business, in that same world.
Yeah.
And then just decided he wanted to open his own place.
Yeah, he's probably got a more impressive resume than I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'll have to have him on the podcast sometime. Okay.
Oh, he won't sit down with you for 2 hours or an hour. He doesn't find you trusty.
Shout out to Trusty Brewing and Gary Paul. I miss you, buddy.
He's not watching.
So, so you already knew him from that corporate
Yeah.
world, and then he was like, "Hey, I want to do this thing. Come help me."
Kind of, sort of. I decided I'm going to leave the corporate world.
Okay, get out. Jump off
I'm getting
the
out. I don't
treadmill.
care what my plan is. I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm just getting out. And then he's like, okay, well, that's...
The timing was just good.
Yeah.
Nice. And that was 2018, when did you guys
2017. December
2017.
13th we opened.
open? Okay.
2017, yeah.
Yep. And this was the original first location.
Correct.
Okay. Oh. very happy with it? Is it much more just relaxing, less
Oh.
stress?
This is what life should be like,
Yeah.
where you look forward to coming to work, you enjoy the people you work with, and the people that are surround you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm assuming it's hard to have that in the corporate setting.
Oh, it's impossible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can kind of say the same thing. It took me a long time to figure it out, which we talked about this. I wish I would have got on at Costco in my 20s, but because now I'm still going to have to work there a while. But it's I guess it's corporate. It's publicly traded, but it doesn't necessarily feel corporate. Yeah, I mean they do a good job of taking care of their employees. But yeah,
Well, you got lucky because there's a lot of. I think the main problem with any sort of big organization, whether government or corporate, is that there's so many people that are filling jobs that they feel the need to justify their positions.
Yes.
And that's why you have all these things coming down, new requirements and things.
Oh, I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. New SOPs or just new
Right, right,
standards or
right.
whatever, and changes that maybe don't even need to be changed, or
But
changes.
I need to justify my position.
So I got to come up with
Because
some
my
new
yearly
policy.
review's coming up, and this is what I achieved.
Got it. So we start
The same way
creating.
the military too. I mean, military
Yeah.
is the same way.
Yep. New policies so
Yeah.
I can so I can show that I'm producing something.
My lieutenant's got his yearly review coming up, so this is what we're going to do. That does need to be done,
Yeah.
but he needs to show it on paper.
Yep. So art history, was was just history in general, or sounds like you had an interest in the actual art history?
No, just that. I remember that class just stood out in my head.
Okay.
It was more about history than about art. but
Okay.
I'm just trying to get an example of things that I
Yeah.
found interesting in college, as opposed to my field of study.
Yeah. Yep. Well, because I mean, as becoming later in life, I've become a huge history buff. Just again, when you're in your 20s, especially men, but our brains aren't fully developed yet. We just don't. Decision making isn't always the best. What do they say? Your frontal lobe doesn't develop into your mid or late 20s to actually be able to reason and think logically.
Yeah, but you can drive when you're 16.
Right. Exactly. And you can vote at 18.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I always said if we could harness the passion and energy of the college age kids and combine that with the wisdom of the 40, 50-year-olds, God, what they could accomplish.
Again, the old saying I always like is youth is wasted on the young.
Yes. Oh, my God, it is.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the hell to do with all that
Yeah.
energy and passion.
But we're designed not to think. We're designed to procreate because we weren't supposed to live this long.
Yeah, oh, my gosh, yes.
You know,
You're right.
most of these buildings in Europe that are great architecture and great structures that stand there for thousands of years were built by teenagers and designed by teenagers.
Yes.
And till death do us part was no problem because you got
You're-
married at 14 and died at 19.
At 29 or
yeah,
30.
No, if that long.
If that long. Gosh, you're right. It's only been in the last, couple hundred years at the most even, that human lifespans have all of a sudden jumped.
Yeah.
Well, probably once we came up with the germ theory and discovered like antibiotics and stuff,
Right,
then we
right.
could start, what do they call that? Medicine 2.0 or 1.0. There's like, because I listened to also Peter Attia, but like there's the first stage of medicine, and then once we discovered what germs and bacteria were and had a way to treat them, and once we understood sanitation and disinfection,
Sure.
all of a sudden lifespans started going up.
Right. But
And
a lot of times, you lived, 23, 24 was like, that's expected. So you got married
Yeah.
at 14 or 15,
yep,
till death do us part. That was not a problem.
yeah, because it was 8 or 10 years.
That's why there was no divorces. It's because you didn't live that long.
Oh my gosh,
Life
yeah.
was a blur,
Yes,
and we were meant to procreate.
for the survival of the species.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what was literally ingrained in our evolution.
Now,
was-
as we progress, we get older and we get, different things, and we get, there's wisdom and but it's like our ability, our youthful energy is turned in now more into wisdom,
Mhm.
where you didn't really have that back then.
Yeah, because the only way to gain wisdom is living.
Right.
More time on
Making
the
mistakes.
planet. More time on the planet, making mistakes, learning
Right,
from it.
right.
And if you were dying in your mid-20s, you didn't have a lot of time to gain wisdom, obviously.
No, all you do is let's
Yeah, and
get more kids.
now that lifespans are closing in on 80 as your expected lifespan, holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah. God, would I even want? Would it even be a good thing if they did, if they, through breakthroughs in medicine? Because I've heard people talk about this. If we eventually got to the point that you could live 150 or 200 years, would you want to? At what point is long enough? Long enough?
Well, it depends on if you're going to be if your bones are still creaking and you can't get up and you're breaking down.
Yeah.
There's no real point.
Now we're talking about health span
Correct.
versus lifespan.
Correct.
If you're still functional at 150, but I almost wonder, 150 years on the planet of your brain developing, at some point, would you be just ready to go, or would you want to keep going?
Well, I think no. I think the older you get, the more you come to terms with your own mortality.
Yes.
Once your parents pass, you realize, okay, now I'm on deck, and you kind of realize,
Yeah.
this is the cycle of life.
Yeah.
And I don't think that. Now, nobody wants to die. We all have a survival instinct,
Yeah.
but we know it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And to live to 150, I think, especially unless you were, Benjamin Button or something, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's an interesting point. I have noticed that because I lost both my parents in the last 2 years, and it totally changed my perspective.
Yeah.
You start becoming more introspective, and you start thinking about your own humanity and your own.
Right.
I've got more years behind than I do ahead.
Yes, and once you hit that point, you don't know where that point is.
Yeah.
Whether you're 35 or 45, you don't know when it is. You just know that.
Yep.
Your best years are behind, or your youngest years are behind you.
And I think you start appreciating stuff more.
Yeah.
I definitely notice I have, which is that was the impetus for the podcast. I've told it before, but my mom originally had this idea in the 90s before they had technology, but she was even talking about just sitting down with a handheld recorder and like recording her mom, and just listening to her mom tell her life story. And then when my mom passed, I was like, crap, I never got to do it with her.
Right.
So I started doing this now. And again, just I learned so much by listening to people. I wish humans did more of that. Is actually listening to people that have different.
What'd you say?
That have different experiences than you do, and
Yeah.
especially have different opinions and beliefs. Listen to other people, even if you don't end up agreeing. It's good to listen.
Yeah.
Because you might learn something, and God forbid you realize that your opinion on something was wrong. I love being wrong.
Yeah.
That's how you grow.
I wish I knew that feeling.
Come on, you're going to learn something from this podcast.
Yeah, not to ever do it again.
Even if it's the whole entire history of Kenny Chesney's career. So.
Oh God.
So, going back to your younger days weightlifting, I feel like we had this conversation with wisdom. Would you probably would go back and work out differently? Because
Absolutely.
I feel like some of my aches and pains and issues I have are because I went too heavy when I was young.
They're all of my aches and pains.
Because you said you were more focused on bodybuilding, but you were still lifting heavy weights.
I was lifting insane, and it was more to prove to myself I could do it.
And also back then, because the theories change over time and there's so many ideas of what type of exercise and what type of workout system is going to be the best for hypertrophy, actually building muscle. Some people are, like Dorian Yates and who was the guy Mike Mincer, the heavy duty, one heaviest set possible to all out failure and then forced reps.
Yeah.
That's the best way to grow. And then other people are like, no, you need to do 25 reps and higher sets. And
what I would do differently if I could, and back then it was more about ego, and and
that still is, I'm sure,
attracting,
Oh yeah,
my wife could be watching. If I could go back and do it again, I would do yoga. If I
Oh,
could go back.
you
and do it
mentioned
again.
that because
Yeah.
Lauren does that.
Yeah, correct. And she's so much older than me, but she's very limber,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and she can. I mean, I something falls on the floor. It's like shit. How am I gonna pick this up? Because my legs are like guitar strings that are a bit way too tight. Because I heavy
Yes.
squats, and and it's not because I'm getting older. It's because I abused my body so much
Yep.
when I was younger. And if I could have done it over again, it would have been, knowing what I know now, it
Yeah.
would have been yoga.
And I mean, so I still believe, especially as we age, the importance of resistance training is especially for females, but men too. And it doesn't have to be heavy, but
Yeah, you're right.
you need to apply resistance to your bone structure to keep them strong
Correct.
and to stay functional.
Correct.
But yeah, you don't have to be doing 400-pound
No, no,
benches.
no,
And in
no.
fact, the bench press. It's funny. When Tony started the burpee challenge, he would send us videos to make sure everybody was doing their push-ups with proper form.
Correct. Yeah.
But now it clicked. I'm like, I think that's why I have shoulder issues, because I was doing benching for
Yeah,
years
yeah. Oh,
the
well,
wrong way. It's probably one of
my
the worst
shoulders,
chest exercises.
There was some times I asked Kevin, I come to work, I could not lift because that's why I discovered CBD cream and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't one thing I did now. It's just a payback from
Yep.
when I was younger.
Again, I think there are so many exercises that are better for your shoulders and your chest than bench press.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. God. So now I've definitely transitioned more to functional stuff. I have kettlebells. I do a lot of that stuff. And it's again added resistance, but I want it to be more functional. Because how functional is it laying on a bench and pressing a barbell up? That doesn't necessarily translate to everyday real life experiences when you're moving kegs, for instance.
No, but the time it's like I can outbench what you bench.
right.
It's more that was bench pressing was the foundation
Yeah.
of body or weightlifting.
It was. Yeah,
Yeah.
bench and squats.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Was so what was your just out of curiosity, what was your like split? Were you doing each body part one time a week? And like a 4-day
No, I would do backs and biceps,
Mhm.
chest and triceps, and
Okay.
then legs.
Oh, okay. So
Legs and-
a
legs and
3-day
calves.
split.
Yeah.
But were you going to the gym more than 3 days a week?
Oh yeah.
So
I was
you're
there 7 days a week.
hitting them twice a
Oh
week.
yeah, at least.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
High volume.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So maybe taking one day off
Maybe.
out of 7.
And that again, I was going to school full time, and I was working, 30 hours a week. This was the energy I had. It's amazing.
Right?
Yeah, just like what
be
the
able-
fuck was I thinking?
Oh my
Not to
gosh.
mention other activities.
Right.
Um,
You crammed in a social life, I'm assuming.
oh yeah.
Oh, the energy of youth.
Yes.
Oh my God. Did Southern Oregon? Did they have a fraternal system? They have
no,
frats?
No.
Okay, because I went to Western Oregon. It was the same thing. There was no
No,
frats.
Western, Eastern, and Southern were pretty much the same.
Okay.
Same model.
Okay. I did walk around the Southern campus several years ago. Took a trip to Medford because there was an opportunity at the Medford Costco, and I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So we drove down and spent like a day just going around, and then I went to Ashland. We stayed a night in a hotel there and kind of walked around the campus. That's a beautiful campus and a
It's
great
gorgeous.
setting.
Gorgeous.
Especially like I remember, it must have been fall because the football team was practicing,
Mhm.
and that was the first time I'd been to the campus. And the field, like you look, I think it's looking kind of southeast. I was like, I would go watch a football game just for the view behind it.
Yeah.
It was
The mountains there.
yes.
You drive down Siskiyou Boulevard and you see the mountains. It's like, especially when I got out of the military and I realized there are desolate places in the world.
Yeah.
And you come back there, it's like, why didn't I appreciate this when I lived here?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Mount Ashland, and it's picturesque.
It is.
Yeah.
Because especially when you come down I-5 over the top of the Siskiyous, and as soon as you start down, it opens up into that valley.
Yeah.
And there's a big lake there. I don't know what that's called, but that is just I would the truck driving thing. God, I did it for a few years,
Yeah.
but that's no kind of career. But the one thing I did appreciate because I mostly stayed on the West Coast up and down I-5, is I always loved coming down during the daytime so I could see that view.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's beautiful.
Howard Lake was it called?
Howard Lake. Okay. Yep. And and obviously I Medford itself, kind of cool. We actually went out and looked at a place in is it Jacksonville?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah. That's where I used to live in Jacksonville,
so that's the one that is
the historic town.
west of I-5.
Correct.
You're going, yes.
Yeah.
We loved that town.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a home, an antique home right off. It was
Yeah.
like a block off of
The
Main
Br-
Street.
uh,
That was
Brit-
actually for sale,
The Britt home.
and maybe that was it.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out, like, God, could we make this work? Because like, if I transferred to that Costco, then I was, with Pam at the time. I was like, would she be able to like, because it was set up to have an Airbnb you could
Mhm.
rent,
Yeah.
an auxiliary living unit.
Yeah.
And we were like, could we make this work where we rent this out and she gets to do that and I work? I was like, no. At the end of the day, I didn't get the job anyway, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't right. Moving away from all the family. And now my daughter's back in Portland and
Yeah.
her family's here. So,
Well, and tucked away behind that, well, I worked at the Jacksonville Inn, which was right there, which
Mhm.
is that place that I worked when I was at college. But tucked it right a block away is Britt Gardens, where the amphitheater is.
yes.
And that's where I've seen a lot of Don McLean and
Oh, that's right. I remember
and,
seeing, maybe just doing the research or seeing flyers and stuff about events that
yeah,
were
Michael
there.
McDonald I saw there. And then Ringo's been there. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have
Oh my
played
God.
there.
And so that venue's been there for a while.
Oh yeah, and Willie Nelson. I mean, there are a lot of people who played there.
Wow.
Outdoor amphitheater. It's kind of like the Ridgefield Amphitheater, but condensed like to one tip.
So maybe almost more like if you've the one at Edgefield. If you've seen that
yeah,
venue.
more like Edgefield, but probably smaller.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're talking a thousand, couple thousand?
maybe 2,000, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang. But they've had some big name acts
Oh, yeah.
come. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's obviously a beautiful place to have a
Oh
concert.
yeah, yeah.
Dang.
Chuck Mangione. I mean, I played a Happy Birthday at my table once.
Oh my
yeah.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was when you were going to school that you worked at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So working there, trying to go to school, hitting the gym all the time. I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
and then trying to have a social life.
Yeah.
Wow. And what is the drive? Is it, if I remember right, 30 minutes from Jacksonville to Ashland?
No, it's about 10 miles.
Oh, so 15 maybe.
Yeah,
15 minutes.
Now, we live in a rural area. Like people say, you live in Grants Pass and work in Medford. That's impossible. That's only 30 miles away.
Yeah.
If you live in L.A., 30 miles away is nothing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Going from even now, Grants Pass to Medford, you do it in 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not. They don't have the traffic.
No, but
Yeah.
when you're more condensed,
Yeah.
if you say you live in Vancouver but I work in Southeast Portland, oh, no big deal. It's the same thing as working in Grants Pass or living in Medford or vice versa.
Yes. We got time. I just want to make sure I don't run you up to right before opening. Like, is there more stuff you need to do before you open?
This is my day off, dude.
Oh.
All yours.
Phil's opening.
Phil's opening. yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, right on. Yeah, I assumed you had some duties to do. That's why we did it today, because it's your day off. Cool.
Short-term memory.
It's going as I get older. Oh my gosh. So then, how long? Is this going to be your last job? You think before you retire?
I'm kind of retired now, pretty much.
Well, compared to what you were doing,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I'll never stop working because that's when people die, and I don't have the discipline to keep busy if I'm not working.
Oh, so if you didn't have a job to go through, because right, once you retire, you still need you need to have a purpose every
And
day.
I know
to get
people
up.
here that come here and that they work harder than now being retired than they did when they were working.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I have that discipline.
right. I mean, because the dream is, and I always say this, if I didn't have to work, there's plenty of things I'd want to do.
Right.
But when you aren't beholden to a schedule,
Correct.
now you gotta do it yourself.
Right.
I mean, I do have hiking. I love the outdoors. Snowboarding. I wish I had more time to do that. Obviously, I do the guitar thing. Like I would totally dive into that, and even more of this. but it would take a lot of discipline to not to all of a sudden not have to punch a clock anymore.
Well, I think one of the old sayings is if you want something done, give it to a busy person because they have structure
Yes.
and they have time. Now, you love the guitar, you love hiking, but that may not translate into actually doing it
Right.
if you're not, like, go back to when I was in college. I worked, I was going to school, I was weightlifting. I found myself more productive. There was one term I didn't have a job,
Okay.
and I found my grades would slip, and I wasn't as productive as when I had zero time to do anything.
Oh.
If I had
If
free
you had
time,
free time.
it was wasted.
Wow.
So it's in my case, the less time I have available, the more I get done.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I do find myself even at something as simple as practicing my guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I have a day off, like it's sitting right there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like I should just jump on it. But if I have free time, I find myself wasting time doing nothing.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Whereas if it's during the 5 days a week I'm working, yeah, I will actually find the time because I guess it's because I'm already up and moving. I'm already up doing things. I'm kind of used. I'm in an activity mode.
Well, I'm not sure. I think we have pressure. If we don't have pressure, we don't get things done. So
Yeah.
that one term I didn't work. I used to. Okay, I only have 45 minutes to study for this class. I got to get it done now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can do it later. I can do it later, and it never gets done.
Yeah.
So if you have pressure and you are beholden to that pressure, you get it done.
Yep.
If you don't, I mean, there's no pressure to, play your guitar because you have all day off.
Oh, so I almost now I think I see what you're saying. What you need to set goals for yourself. Like for instance, if I was to book a gig with my guitar, shit, now I got to get ready
Right,
for it. Now
right,
I got to practice.
right.
If you have a goal that's a deadline.
And you're working all day at Costco, and they want you to work overtime, whatever. Now you only have X amount of time to do it. You're going to cram as much time
Yeah.
to do it
Yep.
as you can to get ready for your.
Yep. So that's why setting goals is actually valuable. Or even if it's you want to say you're going to do a 5K, you're going to get up and practice running
Right.
because you have this thing coming up, or you're doing the Hood to Coast or something. But
But even more important than I'm going to run a 5K is that you are with other people that are holding you accountable as well.
yes, yeah, that's why
I mean,
Tony's,
Tony does his burpees.
his group challenge is
Right.
awesome because it's
Yeah.
making. And now we're doing the push-ups and the air squats.
Right.
Like, and his weekly check-ins on the emails and the group
Right.
text, it motivates you because
Yeah,
then
yeah.
everybody checks in and here's the number I'm at.
Right,
And
right.
Phil's back here doing burpees in the kitchen because he's he's behind, and
He better not be because he's getting paid.
and I'm doing them at work. I'll go to the back of the tire shop and bust out burpees
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm like, crap, I got to catch up.
Right, and that's pressure.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I need to blow my nose. One sec. Oh. I have learned how to pause this. That was another mistake I made one time.
I'm still clocked in. Got it.
So Ken tells me you're doing burpees on company time.
Trouble.
Ken tells me you're doing burpees on company time. What the hell is that
So
about?
that was during my break.
Yeah.
Yes, he was on a
Let me
break.
check the payroll records on
He,
that one.
he gets for every 4 hours you have to give him a break, right?
Just like I have a job. I'm going to give him a break for.
Poor Phil. Oh my gosh. So yeah, but you're never gonna stop working. But I mean, this is kind of a good gig, right?
Oh, it's great.
And I'm
you know,
assuming-
the best part about this is that now I worked in Portland for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Outside of coaching my kids little league or softball, I knew nobody in Vancouver.
Okay.
So I knew how to get. I knew Portland like the back of my hand.
Right.
Oh, what's that? And I knew how to get home.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually part of the community because, a double-digit percentage of, East Vancouver knows who I am.
Yeah. Yes.
So it feels good. It kind of sucks some respects because now I have to shower every morning and get dressed and go before I go to the grocery store before I didn't have to. But it's nice to.
But you live pretty close here, right?
Yeah. But it's nice to, know people.
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah, because I'm assuming at the bigger corporate ones, you probably had some regulars, but it's a lot
I
of
didn't give a shit.
it's a lot,
'Cause
right?
'cause
And
the-
it's not like this.
The clientele at a corporate place, especially.
You can say it.
It's just it's the biggest problem I had with work was not so much people I worked with, but I love the people I worked with for the most
Mhm.
part. It's the people who'd walk through the door.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I enjoy the people who walk through the door.
Right. Yeah, that
There
makes
it's
total sense.
to be in bitch complained to because I don't have enough handicap parking spots because you're too overweight. It's like my response would be, why don't you park as far away as you can and get some exercise?
Yeah, that's funny. I have, working at the tire shop, I have a view of the whole parking lot. It is funny to watch people, and not people that are in shape, but they will block the aisle. They'll sit there and wait for somebody to load their groceries because they want that one parking spot that's
Yeah,
right close.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And see, I park in Costco,
Yeah.
especially Costco. I park as far away as I
right,
possibly can.
get some steps in.
Well, not just that; it's safer.
Yes, it is.
It's easier to get in and out.
Yes.
I'd rather not get into a fender bender and take the extra, 50, 100 yards or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and be safer.
Yeah, absolutely, and get some exercise, and it's people that are younger than me and in great shape. I'm like, it's not going to hurt you to walk.
No.
Why? They'll sit there for 5 minutes, and
It
cars
just
are having to go
bugs the
around them.
Hell out of me. Sit there and people watch. What? And I watch this parking lot here. It's like parking lot. All traffic rules go out the window. That stop sign does not exist.
Right.
And people have to back into park. Why? Just go. Have a purpose.
Oh, and what actually I've noticed, obviously, I shop at Fred Meyer a lot, but I work at Costco, and then even here because I would sit out there in the summer. The whole, whether it's Uber Eats or DoorDash and stuff, this whole new business model of I can sit at home and just have somebody do my shopping for me. Number one, most of the time, I mean, look, especially if you're busy working from home, I can kind of understand having somebody do your shopping at Fred Meyer because it's tedious. But what kills me the most is you can do it at 7-Eleven. They are sending Uber Eats and DoorDash, and the one employee that's working at 7-Eleven has to put the order together.
Yeah, right.
The person who's doing the shopping should just come in and get it.
Right.
So there's a line at 7-Eleven, and the clerk's having to put together an order for an Uber Eats.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're ordering friggin' fake cheese nachos and hot dogs.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and come get it yourself.
Well, a lot of people is because you're high.
Yes.
They're smoking too much weed.
Yes.
Or
yes.
they're intoxicated somehow.
So then you get, oh God, I need some munchies.
Right. And they're smart enough to know not to drive.
So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's not good for health. Public health in this country is.
Well, you can up and down. What's healthier, smoking weed and driving, or not driving and getting cheese nachos? So you have to.
Right.
There's up and down to both sides.
But I feel like that's not the only two options. How about
you don't smoke weed and go 7-Eleven
How about
yourself?
if you do some shopping so you have food at home?
Well,
then you can stay there and smoke weed.
Now you're talking sense, Ken. This is not. There's no place for that.
Don't bring reason and
Yeah,
logic into the
exactly.
equation. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the pot thing. I had never done it my entire life. And then the first time, literally, I was in my 40s, me and Pam, a friend gave us some brownies, homemade.
Yeah.
And we had neither one of us had ever done it as adults. It's a great story. So we were like, let's, pinky swear, we'll try it together. And we each only took a little piece of it, ate it, sat on the couch, and put on a movie. And about 40 minutes in, oh my God, it hit us. And I've since learned that edibles are a lot different than smoking a joint. It hit us so hard. I don't know how we made it to the bedroom to go to bed, and I didn't feel right for 2 whole days.
Well, it it'll fuck you up. And the problem
Oh,
is
yeah.
with that stuff is that it affects your ability to work.
Oh yeah,
At least, and there's no way I could go to work the next day,
yeah,
partake today, and then go to work tomorrow. There's just no way.
yeah, yep.
So it's
And I have since, taken a hit off a joint now and then, which it doesn't even really. I mean, I didn't even really feel it.
yeah.
But the edibles thing, dude. Oh Jesus
Yeah.
Christ! Never again. And I'm just not a pot guy anyway. I'm glad it's legal. It should be.
Well,
but
I don't want something that's going to. Now I got to dedicate my whole entire day to not doing shit.
right. Now there are some people that can function on it, and God bless them.
Oh, my chemical makeup is not that way, and
Yep.
that's why this big push for mushrooms and psychedelics. I'm scared because I've never done that before, and I'm afraid what it might do to me.
Oh, right.
So I will never. I promise you, I'll never do that.
Because I mean, you'd have to be in a perfect scenario, feel safe and
Yeah.
almost have somebody watching over you. But
Yeah.
you'd probably be fine, but you never know.
Right, just know how my chemical makeup.
And how are you going to feel the next day? Would
Right.
it affect you? Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I see people walking through this parking lot all the time that are on something,
Oh yeah.
and they think they are Superman, and they are, it's scary to. It's like The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
but in their own mind, they think they are just, they're
Yep.
saving the world,
yeah, they're kind of out of touch
and
with
so I
reality.
don't want that effect ever on anything to have on me.
Clarity is a good thing.
Well, yeah.
When
At
your
least
brain's-
knowing your limits is also a good thing.
Yes, and when you're and indulging but not overdoing it. Whether it's alcohol or any
Right.
food, whatever it is.
Especially food.
Don't
God.
don't go to excess. God,
The biggest drug we have on this country anyway is food.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why we have a health crisis. It's all based on the crap food that most people eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Processed sugars. What's the kind of the rule that I live by? I've heard it said. I didn't create this, but any grocery store, shop on the perimeter. Stay out of the center of the store.
Right.
You want the vegetables and you want the meat,
Right,
and
right.
whatever, the fresh stuff.
Right.
Anything in the center of the store in a box, don't eat that crap.
No. I mean, have some food cans or whatever for emergencies.
Canned vegetables, whatever. Yeah.
But fresh meats, fresh fish is so much better than what you're going to buy at the store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And just, with YouTube now, God, you can learn how to prepare anything. There's a tutorial for anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's how I learned how to grill steaks.
And my rule of thumb is I don't eat because it's scheduled time to eat. I eat when I'm hungry. And I don't look forward to what I'm going to eat. I just eat what I can. What's
What a
available.
concept. You're listening to your body.
Right.
It'll
I don't
send
eat
you-
breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. The most important meal of the day is a slogan invented by people who make breakfast food.
Yes.
Because if I can go till 2 or 3 in the afternoon without eating.
Well, and that's actually an easy way because I like the idea of fasting sometimes.
Right.
And that's the easiest way to fast because
Right.
you've already slept for 8 hours.
You're
Just
breaking your fast. That's
don't
what
have
breakfast comes from.
breakfast.
Is
Just don't
break-
have breakfast, and all of a sudden you've got a 14-hour fast.
If I eat at 8 in the morning, I'm hungry by 10.
Yep.
If I don't eat at 8 in the morning, I'm fine until 2 or 3.
Yeah. And then you've got a 14-hour fast is good. It gives your body needs that break from
Yeah,
digesting
yeah,
food
right.
to do other things.
Right.
And just making your body healthier.
Right.
So yeah, cramming your food, not cramming, but just keeping your food into a 6 or 8 hour feeding window is actually really good.
Well, again, I don't measure it or time it. Say, hey, Ken, let's make some lunch.
Right.
I don't need to get lunch if I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, 8 hours is up, I should eat now. It's just, okay, I'm hungry, I'll get something to eat.
Yep. And that is, I think I mentioned Peter Attia is he's a doctor, another podcast I listen to a lot. And his whole focus now is increasing health span. Because, you want your life and health span. Your health span should look like this. You want it to, born, you get better, it goes up, and then you're still functional. And then at the end of your life, you don't want a slow degrading. You want to be optimal and functional, and then you die.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You don't want to spend time where you're slowly declining, you're not mobile anymore. But I want to be completely cognizant, mentally acute. I can move around. I can still lift weights, and then I just die.
I'd much rather die, drop over dead of a heart attack
Yes.
immediately, or die in my sleep
Then have to live in
right.
assisted living
Right,
for the
right.
yeah. Yep. But going back to like food and stuff, they've done studies on this. You caloric restriction has the greatest effect on increasing lifespan and health span, or lifespan at least. It's more about calorie restriction and less about nutrient restriction. So you're saying, and it's a bad example, but even if you live on McDonald's, you'll get a greater health effect by just reducing the amount of McDonald's you eat, as opposed to having a healthier diet but a lot more calories.
Well, I totally agree. Like I said, again, my theory is eat when you're hungry, but don't overeat.
Yeah, because even if you're eating healthy food, you still shouldn't overeat.
Right. And I've learned, I get a salad at the sushi place. I used to get two, and I only need one. It's still a salad, but I feel obligated to eat the second one if I buy two.
Right.
So I just buy one,
Yeah.
and I'm fine.
Yeah, a little self-control.
Yeah.
I heard that the second time. It's like there's somebody back
it's a
there.
pressure thing.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the door's just
Yeah.
okay.
And the ghost.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a historic building,
Yes,
so I'm
yes,
sure there
yeah,
is.
I'm sure. It's 2000.
Oh, okay. So that I just thought about that. Was this space something before Kevin turned it into this?
Years ago, when I moved up here, I think it was a Blimpies.
Oh, that's right. Because this whole structure, the L-shaped mall or whatever, has been here for a while.
Well, I moved up here in 2000. It was here when I moved up here,
Okay.
and it was just opened up. The Starbucks was here, and the Barbers was here.
Oh, okay.
Used to be a Pizzicato there where the sushi place is.
Okay.
Cold Stone where Champs is. I think this was a Blimpies.
Oh, I think I remember the Cold
My
Stone
State
there.
Farm agent was up the road there. There was it was, and then it went through a period of decline for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Ketman came in, and then Champs came in, it kind of
Revitalized it.
yeah, a bit.
Because I moved to Vancouver. I was born in Canby, Oregon, if you know where that's
Oh,
at.
yeah.
Okay, and then so basically grew up in Canby in the Portland area. But I moved to Vancouver in 2013, and until I moved up here, I really had not spent any time up here. I had no idea what it was like.
Yeah.
But now I love it up here. Like
Oh, yeah.
I try not to cross the river if I don't have to.
I go as far south as the airport.
Right. And then but
When I
again,
have to. When I have to.
when you have to.
Yeah.
My daughter does live right across the river off of 205, so I do go down there a lot. But it's actually pretty easy, but still, Vancouver's like the perfect size now.
Well, it's 10 miles from Portland, but worlds apart.
Yes. Yep.
And they can call it Vantucky all they want as long as they stay the hell away.
I feel like that's gone away, although I feel like Vancouver's image has gotten really good, but it's almost like word's getting out now. I mean, you see the whole development on the waterfront, which is great.
Well, that's great because people from Portland who can't go to downtown Portland anymore come up here,
Yes.
so we get their revenue.
Yes.
And then go the hell back home. That's all I care about.
It is beautiful, and all.
Yeah.
I like spending some time down there occasionally, but usually I stay on this side or even
Yeah.
go north to Battleground.
I'd rather go east or north.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely east into the gorge.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, like I said, this is kind of your end game. You're always going to keep working.
Yeah.
And probably just this will be it.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah. Although, if Kevin keeps expanding, you might have to do some other stuff
Well, yeah,
for him.
no, I mean working with Kevin is
Right.
not necessarily here in this location, but whatever comes. I mean, I love the people I work with. Absolutely adore the people I work with.
Did you hear that, Phil? He just said he loves the people he works with.
Except with Phil.
Except for Phil, right?
Um,
He just said he loves the people he works with.
Except me.
Except for
Phil.
you.
Yeah. You knew that
you
was
can't
coming.
even fix a microwave, for Christ's sake. No, it's a great play, great guest. You know.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, I come here enough. Finally got talked into the Mug Club membership. So, how many years was I wasting money not being a Mug Club member?
Brought to you by the Mug Club Membership Committee.
Yes. Eventually, when I have some listeners, since we're doing it here, we should do some cross promotion. So this is Taps Growler House on 162nd. Awesome spot. Paul, the manager, Phil, one of the top-notch employees here. Great tap selection, great pizzas, cool environment. You guys should patronize this place. So, any last parting thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, we didn't get to talk about music at all, which
Oh,
it
let's
kinda
do that
hurts
then.
me,
I don't have to
yeah.
wrap it up. We got time.
Well, we've got a few minutes. I just want to say that
yeah.
if you ever come in here, Kevin loves Journey. He loves Journey. He loves Styx. He loves Boston.
Okay.
Talk to him about Journey and Styx and Boston because he loves those three groups.
Really?
Yeah, and he loves Hefeweizen. So buy him a Hefeweizen if you get a chance.
Yeah.
Those are three things he loves. Four
Journey,
things.
Sticks,
And Boston.
and Boston.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
funny.
In fact, you just bring in like a CD or just turn the volume up. He
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
that shit. Yeah.
Because I have a Journey story, a brush with fame.
Yeah.
So I used to live in Salem,
Mhm.
and I did for years, for like 15 years before I got on at Costco and before I started working at the brewery. I was a DJ. That was
Mhm.
my job for 5 days a week. Just gigs at local bars and stuff. So like 3 days a week on the off days, I would DJ, but I would offer karaoke
Mhm.
at different locations, and then on the weekends just DJing. And I ended up with like kind of like a regular residency, providing a DJ 4 nights a week at a place in Gresham. So that was my main income, Puff's Pub in Gresham,
Mhm.
and self-employed, obviously. So I did that for years. But anyway, living in Salem, I met my good friend Torin, and Journey's drummer Dean Castronovo lives
Yeah.
in Salem.
Right.
So, and my friend Torin actually knew Dean's son, Kyle. They were friends from school, although Kyle's younger. And actually, I can't remember. Torin was in a band too for years, and I can't remember. Kyle actually, I think, played drums for them for a bit. But anyway, they all knew each other. So when Kyle was getting married, and this is back in 2014.
Mhm.
I feel like it was Halloween 2014. He got married, and outside of Salem, if you're going west, the back way, there's a really nice golf course out there. I forgot the name of it, but that's where the wedding was going to be, and they asked me to DJ it. So now this is pressure, because at that point, I knew how to DJ, play music, and I had my own PA system. They needed me to run live sound. And guess who's flying in to perform? Jonathan Cain
Oh, really?
and his daughter Madison, who a beautiful voice, great singer.
Yeah.
But for the ceremony, Dean, the drummer, and Jonathan Cain did a song like in the middle of the ceremony. So they both sang, and Jonathan Cain just played acoustic guitar.
Uh-huh.
But I had to mic all this and run sound for it, which I had never done. And then for the first dance during the reception, Jonathan and his daughter Madison, they rented a keyboard, and then I had to run the mics for both of them and run the sound through my PA. They did this beautiful version of Faithfully. Yeah, their famous song Faithfully.
Yeah.
But I think Jonathan played keyboard, and I think he did the first verse, and then Madison did the second, and then they came together in the chorus. Holy crap. So that was my brush with fame. And both super nice guys. And I've seen Dean more often, but he's just a super nice guy. But yeah, talk about stress. So
yeah.
I will, and I actually, Pam had a little, I forgot what it was called, a Flip something. It's a little handheld video recorder that, it's obsolete now, but it actually had good sound. She was able to record this.
Oh, really?
So I have it.
Nice.
I've never shared it because it's not my, it's not my right to share that publicly. I would
Right.
never upload it, but
Right.
I have the video of it. Such a great performance. And yeah. So I'll going back to him loving Journey, I have a story I can tell him.
Well, yeah. You'd enjoy that story.
And hell, I'll bring my laptop. It's on my laptop. I'll play it for him.
The more Journey, the better for Kevin. Yeah.
They are a great band.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved them.
Yeah. No,
so-
I think Jonathan Cain's work on Who's Crying Now, the guitar work, is one of the best.
And he is so gosh damn. He can play everything. I think
Yeah.
he can play bass. He can play guitar, keyboards.
Yeah.
Gosh
Yeah,
dang.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, I have an insight, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you. I'm gonna buy you a hef and talk Journey.
Yeah, exactly. You'd love that.
Any other music stuff?
No, that's it, bro.
All
Gotta
right,
wrap it
dude.
up.
I appreciate
Okay,
your time,
yeah.
Paul. Let me pause this.